Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Chill Out podcast. So, it's Easter weekend. Let's go. It's honestly such a beautiful day today. Like, the sun is out, the sky is blue. It just looks gorgeous. I went for a walk on the beach this morning. It was just amazing. I mean, who doesn't love to stare at a few waves in the morning? Okay, just to like calm the soul, vibe out, all of that. So, on Thursday, I went to this really cool like arts light type of show on this like wine farm, and we had like pizza, we got some margaritas, some really good tequila. It was a vibe, honestly, like just walking around having a look at the light show. And there was this one section where you have to like walk over a bridge, and there's this like huge screen that's on this open field of grass, and it was so beautiful. Like, it was such a vibe. I could definitely lay on the grass all night, stare up at the sky, and just watch a movie on that big screen. Like, it was a total vibe. But yeah, I had so much fun. And yeah, let's get into this episode. I'm actually kind of nervous because I didn't think I was going to record this. Like, I've been going back and forth in my head for the past few weeks about whether I should just stop this podcast altogether, which is weird to say out loud because nothing bad happened. Like, people are listening. I can see my stats, but I just hit this point where I was like, what's the point? You know, sometimes when you're doing something and you have really good intentions, you really enjoy it, and it's something that really makes you happy, and you're constantly doing it because you obviously need to be consistent and all of that, but sometimes you get in your head about it and you're like, what is the point? Like, honestly, why am I doing this? And I think I just started feeling really uninspired. And I didn't even notice it was happening at first. It was more of like, I'd sit down to record, open my laptop, have my mic ready, and then just sit there like, what am I even going to say today? And it's not in a way of I have nothing to talk about type of way, because there's always something going on in my life, and there's always something that I would like to share, if it's something that I've learned or whatever. But it was more of like, what am I going to say that hasn't been said 1,000 times? I feel like everywhere you look right now, there's a podcast. Everyone's talking about self-growth and healing and routines and becoming your best self. And I think I just got into my head about it. Like, I would literally be scrolling and see someone say something really insightful or really well put together. And I just think, oh, that's already been said way better than I could say it. And then it kind of spirals from there because, you know, you start comparing without even realizing it sometimes. Like, their podcast sounds better, their content is more structured, they're more consistent, they seem more confident, they have better lighting and cameras and all of that. And suddenly you're like questioning everything that you're doing. And honestly, I hate that I even think like that because I know that's not the point, but it still sort of gets to you. And I've always been someone that is like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And even if I don't have all of the tools or all of like the money or whatever that I need to do something, I'm going to give it my best shot anyways. Like, I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability, and at least try and add value in wherever I can. Okay, so the fact that I have been thinking like that and sort of like comparing myself to other people has sort of sucked, because I feel like as a creative person, it's not really good to compare yourself. You sort of need to kind of like isolate for a second, kind of get back in tune with who you are and like what you enjoy and what you have to say and what you want to give. And when you kind of get stuck in that like comparison mindset, it sucks because you can't really get any creativity when you're in that headspace. I think I just slowly started losing that excitement that I used to have. Like, before, I would actually look forward to recording. It felt like this little space where I could just talk and not overthink it and kind of just be myself. And I love the fact that a lot of people that I know don't listen to my podcast, because it kind of means that I can be myself and I can feel free enough to say what I want to say and like share things that I want to share. And, you know, seeing those stats at the end of the year and seeing the locations that my podcast is reaching is just amazing. The fact that it's reaching like Paris and UK and like the US or whatever, it's so cool because you obviously are, you know, recording podcasts and you have these topics that you want to talk about with people listening in mind, but you don't think that it's reaching to that extent, if that makes any sense. So the fact that I'm able to see that, that does give me motivation, because it means that those people are actually connecting with what I'm saying and they're supporting me, and it's amazing. But sometimes you do get in your head about it and it sucks. And then it's kind of like it turned into, okay, what's the topic? Is this good enough? Is this valuable enough? Are people even going to care? And it stopped feeling like this fun safe creative outlet and started feeling like a lot of pressure. Like I had to show up a certain way or say something meaningful every single time. And I think that's when I started sort of disconnecting from it a bit, because it didn't feel the same anymore for me. Like I know when I'm chilling on the couch and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, do I really have to record today? Do I really have to edit this episode? Do I really have to do this? And I just think it just feels like such a chore. And you know, when something that you actually really love and it's your passion starts to feel like a chore, then I think, you know, you're starting to be a little bit uninspired and a little bit burnt out. So what I have been doing is I take breaks. So I'll like push for 2 weeks on the things that I'm doing, and then I'll take like a week off or whatever, because I just sort of need to just be in the moment of life sometimes and just enjoy myself and get out of my head. Because when you get stuck in your head and it sort of consumes you, it's the worst thing ever. I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to that. So I've been taking a lot of breaks just so that I don't want to quit things in one go and like literally quit everything. And that's like the one downside of being creative, is that people don't understand that you can't just sit down at your desk, for example, and just write something. You sort of have to feel some sort of inspiration or some sort of like purpose or drive or whatever. In my case, that is. But for example, when I'm writing my blog post for my website, I really am in the zone. I'm like looking up topics, I'm doing some research, I'm formulating the blog post, and then I'm posting it or scheduling it or whatever. So I'm in my vibe, like I'm enjoying it. I'm creating the little creatives that go on the Instagram and the TikTok and all of that. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassing. I literally called it the Instagram and the TikTok. Kelly, you're so cringe, honestly. But you know what I mean, okay? So I really enjoy doing that, and I'm a very driven person. Sometimes it's not a good thing, okay? Because I will be so pumped up and so motivated and want to push for like weeks on end, months on end. And then I'll just hit this like bump in the road and I feel completely depleted. And then I start asking myself, what is the point? Why am I doing this? And it's all my fault, okay? Because I'm making myself feel this way because I wanted to push that hard and I didn't stop for a second and just pause or do something different for the day, instead of just like doing the same thing where I'm like writing posts or working on my website or doing this and that. And it's like a lot. So it's my fault. I'm pushing myself way too hard. But it sucks when you get to that point where things that you love start to feel like such a chore that you don't even feel like doing it anymore. I had this thought that just kept coming back, like it wouldn't leave me alone. And it was basically, if I stopped posting, would anyone even notice? And even saying that out loud now feels so dramatic or even like a bit embarrassing, because it's like, why does that even matter? But it actually did. I think because when you put yourself out there consistently, especially something like this type of format where it's literally your thoughts and your voice, a part of you starts attaching your worth to how it's actually being received. So when it's not growing as fast as you expected, or it's not reaching as many people as you thought it would, you start questioning it. But not just the podcast, you start questioning yourself. And I caught myself thinking things like this: maybe I'm just not that interesting to listen to. Or maybe I don't have anything special to say. And that's such a horrible mindset to be in, because it slowly turns something that was really genuine into something that feels kind of performative. Like instead of just talking, you're thinking, is this good enough? Is this actually worth posting? Is this going to get enough listens to justify me even continuing and doing it more? And that's when the what's the point thoughts started to creep in. Because in my head, okay, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to this, you sort of start creating these rules. Like if it's not growing fast, it's failing. If it's not blowing up, it's not working. And if it's not working, then why am I even doing this? And I think that's the part that got to me the most, because it stopped being about enjoying it and started being about proving something. Proving that it's worth my time, proving that I'm good at it, proving that people actually care and that they're willing to take some time out of their daily lives to listen to what I have to say and what I'm sharing. And when you don't have constant validation, it does mess with you more than a lot of people would like to admit. Like there were moments when I really thought I could just stop, I could just not upload again, and life would go on, nothing would really change. And that is what made me step back a bit, because I was like, wait, am I doing this if there's some kind of visible result? And I didn't like that version of my mindset at all. I think the scariest part is you don't even realize you started thinking like that until you already are deep in it. But then I had this moment, and it wasn't even anything dramatic. I think I was just sitting with it all, overthinking as usual, and I kind of just stopped and thought, wait, why did I even start this in the first place? And I had to really be honest with myself, because it wasn't to have the biggest podcast in the world. Like, I'm not trying to be Joe Rogan out here. Okay, love Joe Rogan. His podcast is total vibe. But that wasn't like my goal. It wasn't to go viral or to like hit number one or prove anything to anyone. When I first started it, it was because I had a lot of things to share. And because I'm so passionate about like self-improvement and wellness. And I have this like thing inside of me, like this drive, or I don't know what you call it. Maybe it's feeling like you have like some sort of purpose. Like you feel like you have to do this. Like it fulfills you on a level where you don't even care if you get one like, for example. You know that feeling where you're like posting something and you're like, I don't even care if this gets one like, or if no one comments on it or whatever. I really feel so strong about posting this because I feel like it adds such value and someone will resonate with it in a way. So I was having those types of feelings when it came to like starting a podcast. I was like, I have something to say. I want to share things that could maybe help someone else. I want to create a space that I wish that I had when I was going through some of the hardest things that I've gone through. And I literally just wanted a space where I could talk, like properly talk without overthinking every single word. It was more like a release than a strategy. It was a way for me to sort of process life and then also share it at the same time in real time, if that makes any sense. And I think that somewhere along the line, I lost that a bit and I started focusing more on how it was doing instead of how it was actually feeling. And when I really thought about it, I was like, okay, even if this isn't reaching thousands and thousands of people, it's still reaching someone. Like there are actual people choosing to press play and listen to me talk, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, and also so cool. Like everyone that listens every week, I honestly love you so much. Like you are the reason why I keep on doing this, honestly. And I think that I have been overlooking that because I was so focused on what it wasn't instead of what it is. Because in my head, it was like, it's not big enough. It's not growing fast enough. It's not where I want it to be yet. But I never stopped to think it exists. It's real. People are actually listening. They care. And I don't know, that kind of grounded me in a way. It made me realize that maybe I was being a little bit unfair to something that actually means so much to me, because this was never supposed to be perfect. It was just supposed to be honest. I think I forgot that you don't need a massive audience for something to actually matter. And even on those days when I was like thinking, do I actually want to do podcasting? Like, is this actually something that I still want to do? Do I even want to post on YouTube anymore? Maybe I should just completely delete everything, delete socials, just like follow the normal way that everyone does every single day. They go to work, they enjoy their weekends, and that's it. That's enough for them. That should be enough for me. And no shade to people who like doing those types of things. That's fine. But I had to think to myself, if I actually stopped podcasting right now, if I stopped posting on YouTube, if I stopped being this person that really loves to just create and share in such an honest way, would I be happy after a while? And the answer that kept coming to me was no. Like, you know, you're not going to be happy if you have to stop this. So maybe you should rather just take a break and then come back. Like refocus, recenter, refill, and come back. Because you know that when you stop all of this, you know you're not going to feel fulfilled at all. And I'm just someone that has this like annoying voice in my head that constantly tells me, if far along, you know, in your life, when you get to that point when things are coming to an end, are you going to regret anything? Are you going to be like, I didn't do that because I was afraid or scared or didn't feel like I was good enough? Like, I don't want to get to that stage and be like, I didn't give it my all. I didn't try everything that I wanted to try, and I didn't achieve anything that I wanted to achieve. So that's like that annoying voice that I think pushes me a lot in life, and it pushes me to just do whatever that I want to do, even if people are like judging me or whatever. So I didn't quit. As you can see, I'm chatting and we're chilling together. And I think the reason is actually a lot simpler than what I was making it in my head, because if I'm being really honest, I don't actually want to quit. Like, even when I was in that headspace of what's the point and like overthinking everything, there was still a part of me that didn't want to let it go. And I think that's what confused me the most, because logically I was like, maybe I should just stop. But emotionally, I wasn't ready to. It didn't feel like something that I was done with. It just felt like something I was disconnected from for that little time frame. And I think there's a difference between those two things, because being done with something feels quite clear, right? It's like, okay, this chapter is over, I'm done. But this part didn't feel like that. This felt more like I just lost the spark a little bit, or maybe I'd overcomplicated it to a point where it stopped feeling natural to me. And I think I just had to be honest with myself about that instead of just quitting to escape the uncomfortable feeling, because it would have been really easy to just stop and be like, okay, cool, that's done. But I don't think that would have actually felt good in the long run. I think it would have felt more like I gave up on something that I actually care about. And when I really sat with it, I was like, maybe the podcast is not the problem. Maybe it's me trying to make it something it was never supposed to be, like trying to make it more polished and more structured and more valuable, instead of just letting it be what it was naturally in the beginning, which was literally just me talking with my mic. No pressure, no expectations, just saying what's on my mind and sharing things that I've gone through, things that I've experienced, things that have worked for me that I'm hoping that will work for you. And I think the more I tried to turn it into something bigger or better, the more I lost what made it feel good in the first place. So yeah, like I didn't quit, not because everything suddenly felt amazing again, but because I know that there's something here. I just need to come back to it in a way that actually feels like me. I think I was about to walk away from something I really loved just because I didn't like how it felt in the moment. And sometimes I think that when you are in that headspace, it is always good to just take a step back, do something different, get out of your environment, go grab a matcha or go walk on the beach or go hang out with your friends or whatever. Just do something different and get out of your headspace for a second. And don't do the thing that you do religiously every single week, because maybe you just need a little bit of a break so that you can come back more fulfilled, more pumped up, more ready again. And it's so crazy because I'm not a competitive person, which is so crazy because I've played sports in school, and obviously that's a different type of, being competitive type of vibe. Like obviously you are competitive in that moment because you want to win the game. If I'm playing hockey, like you want to win the game, obviously. The same thing with tennis and all of that. But I think in life, the only person that, and this sounds so cheesy, but it's honestly so true, I only compete with myself. If someone else is doing something, I'm like, you go, Glencoe, okay? Like I'm not on my way to like go and compete with you. I feel like everyone is in their own lane in a way, and there's so much of an abundance of opportunities and all of that type of stuff for everyone to win. So I've never been someone that like wants to compete with you, for example. So it's just crazy that I allowed myself to get into that headspace where I was constantly comparing myself to so many people doing podcasts and looking at them and being like, that is so high quality, like that looks amazing. And then putting myself down because I don't equate to that. But my whole format isn't meant to be in that way anyway. So why am I comparing myself? So it's those types of things that I had to kind of like check myself for a second and be like, Kelly, this is not you. Like you're not someone that competes with other people. Why are you comparing yourself in the first place? So I think just moving forward, I don't want to overthink as much or compare myself. Like I don't want this to feel like something I have to get right every single time I sit down to record. I think I just want it to feel a lot more like, like a voice note with a friend, okay? Not like a super long voice note that no one listens to, because honestly, if you're sending 5-minute voice notes, come on. Seriously, no one is going to listen to a 5-minute voice note, guys, okay? But back to your normal schedule programming, what I'm trying to say is I want this to feel like one of those chill voice notes that you sending to a friend and you're receiving and you're listening to it, and it's something that's been on your mind for the day and you're sharing it. Because that's when it started feeling more natural for me, when it was that type of format, that type of like casual, chill, relaxing, sharing with your big sister type of energy. And to be honest, I feel like I kind of drifted into the space of thinking every episode had to feel like a clear message or a takeaway or like something valuable enough to justify it being posted. And I get why I did that, but I think it took away from what made this feel so special in the first place. So I don't want this to be a here's how to fix your life podcast, because I don't even have my life fully figured out. Every day is a learning experience. So I think I'd rather it be more like, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm talking about, this is what I'm trying to understand right now, or this is what's worked for me. I've experimented, I've tried this really works. And if that helps you or you relate to it, then that's amazing. But I just don't want to force it into something that it's not, because the truth is I don't have everything together. And the whole point of this podcast is sort of like figuring out life together, sharing things, hopefully you're relating and getting something valuable out of it. But that's the vibe, like chill out. And that's the whole human experience, right? Like sometimes I have clarity, sometimes I'm grounded, sometimes I feel amazing and confident, and sometimes I have really great, solid advice. But other times I'm literally overthinking everything, spiraling over the smallest things, questioning my entire life at 10 p.m. for no reason. And I think that I was editing that version of me out a little bit without even realizing it, which is kind of ironic because that's probably the most relatable version. So I just want this to feel more real. So less polished, less perfect, more honest, more in the moment vibes, because that's what life feels like most of the time. And I think that's what I want this podcast to reflect again. I think I needed to have this moment to be honest about how I've been feeling instead of just quietly disappearing and pretending everything's fine. Because if I'm feeling like this, I know I can't be the only one. Like if you're in a phase right now where you feel stuck or uninspired, or you're questioning something you used to really enjoy, I totally get it. Like I actually really get it. And I think we don't talk about that part enough. The part where you love something, but you still feel like giving up on it sometimes because self-doubt creeps in so easily. And it can be so convincing, and it makes you feel like maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe it's not going anywhere. So what's the point? But I don't think that those moments necessarily mean you're supposed to walk away. Sometimes it just means that you're in your head, or you're burnt out, or you've lost your connection to it a little bit. And maybe instead of quitting the entire thing, you just need to come back to it in a way that actually feels better and more like you. And you kind of need to check in with yourself for a second and make sure that the direction that you're going with something that you love is the one that feels the most you. Because if it's something that you actually care about, something that you enjoy, something that feels like you, I don't think it's something you should just give up on so quickly. Even if it's not perfect, even if it's not where you want it to be at, I think we all have those moments where we doubt ourselves. And that doesn't mean it's the end of the story. So I really hope that this episode gave you some sort of hope if you are in that, phase in your life where something that used to bring you so much joy and happiness doesn't anymore. But you don't want to give up on it because you know that you still love it. You just kind of like need a break a little bit. Maybe you just need to do it a bit differently, or take the pressure off, or take some time off, or remind yourself why you started in the first place. I don't know. I'm kind of figuring that out right now too. So obviously I told you guys that I went out the other night and it was so fun. It was a vibe, honestly, but I don't drink that often. So when I do drink, I was just reminded the next day of why I don't like to consume as much alcohol anymore as possible, because I don't know, like you just feel, I think because alcohol is like a depressant, I think that's what they call it, a depressant or something. It kind of like takes your mood in the moment when you're having like some tequila or some vodka, like you're vibing, your mood is high, you're in the mood, you're just vibing out. And then the next day you're like, oh my God, I literally need a McDonald's cheeseburger right now. And I just want to lay on the couch and watch Vampire Diaries. Like you just don't want to do anything. You sort of feel, I know for me, I feel like so low and down. And I honestly hate that feeling so much. Because sometimes you do want to have that margarita and just chill and enjoy the night and have a good time. But then the next day it's like, seriously, why did I do that? Because my energy right now is so low. I honestly just want to sleep all day. So I was just reminded of that. And I was like, this is exactly why I don't drink that much anymore. Because it's just something that doesn't help me, if that makes any sense. So I'm really glad that I actually took the time to record this episode and share this with you guys. And I'm really happy that you're here chilling out with me, because yeah, you are definitely the reason why I continue. And it's something that brings me so much joy and passion to do. It's something in me that really pushes me to continue and to push forward. So I just want to say I'm really grateful. And I hope you guys have the best Easter weekend ever. Like, have the best day. Okay? I love you, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.